Hello, friends. This is Professor Googlaw. Today, I will tell you about the amazing world of animals. So, grab some popcorn and watch. Sea snakes of Fire Mountain. Fire Mountain is a volcano known as Gunung Api, which translates from Indonesian as Fire Mountain. The volcano is highly active, and beneath the layer of lava lies an ecosystem consisting of highly venomous sea snakes. These snakes reside around the volcano and even hunt in packs, much like crawling wolves. To further intimidate potential visitors, these venomous snakes show no signs of fear towards divers. Indonesia is home to over 17,000 islands, and nestled among them is Gunung Api, located 119 miles away from the nearest stretch of land. The only way to reach this place is by hiring a boat. The volcano rises from the ocean, with a significant portion submerged underwater. Thousands of venomous snakes inhabit the slopes of the volcano, hiding and swimming around. Two species of venomous snakes can be found here, the banded sea kite and the smooth sea snake. Both snakes are extremely venomous, growing up to a meter long and moving effortlessly like fish in the water, with the only difference being their occasional need to come up to the surface to breathe. The good news is that they are not very aggressive. Divers travel to this remote volcano specifically to dive with hundreds of the most dangerous snakes in the world, and they never get bitten. It's almost like swimming with dolphins, but much more frightening. The giant hexactinellid sponge. There is an animal that can live for about 10,000 years, and in some cases, even up to 15,000 years. It is called the hexactinellid sponge and holds the record for the longest lifespan among animals. It is also one of the oldest creatures on the planet, with at least one species of hexactinellid sponge existing in every ocean for approximately 635 million years. After 500 million years of evolution, you can be sure that the hexactinellid sponge has reached a point where it is perfectly comfortable living. Not all hexactinellid sponges are immortal, although those living in the waters of Antarctica have the longest lifespan because the cold oceanic environment slows down the animal's metabolism. Compared to sponges living in warm waters, the rate of cell decay decreases for these hexactinellid sponges. They are practically immortal. The giant hexactinellid sponge is another species of sponge that can live for about 15,000 years. They are so large that you can curl up inside one and fall asleep. These sponges can be found throughout the Arctic, residing on top of extinct underwater volcanoes in the Arctic Ocean. It's astonishing that many of these giant hexactinellid sponges outlive numerous human civilizations. Volcanic sharks. In 2015, scientists from a National Geographic expedition discovered sharks living inside one of the most explosive volcanoes on Earth. These sharks thrived in the active underwater volcano, a place so dangerous that the scientists had to return years later with more advanced equipment and underwater robots to understand what the sharks were up to. Ocean engineer Brennan Phillips lowered a baited camera right into the erupting heart of the volcano. The camera descended to a depth of 164 feet, and afterward, the scientists witnessed a staggering number of sharks circling inside. The sharks were not the only living creatures found there. There were also cold water species of zooplankton, larger fish like the blue trevally and six-gill stingrays. Even scalloped hammerhead sharks were swimming in this bizarre volcanic environment. The volcano is called Kavachi and has been erupting continuously since at least 1939. Lava from this volcano regularly creates new islands. The summit of the volcano sits at a depth of about 66 feet beneath the ocean's surface, making the water around it warm and hot. In fact, the water around the volcano is scalding hot and acidic, filled with dangerous volcanic particles that are typically harmful to fish. However, the sharks seem to thrive in this hostile environment. Apparently, there is a small group of animals that have adapted to the harsh reality of life within the volcano. Scientists are still trying to understand what makes life in the mouth of an active volcano so appealing to these animals. Volcanic snail. Chrysomalin squamiferum is a volcanic gastropod mollusk and one of the toughest snails to have ever existed on the planet. It grows an impressive iron shell that protects it from danger when the snail lives on volcanic vents in the Indian Ocean. Chrysomalin squamiferum inhabits the deepest and hottest underwater volcanic vents known to scientists. It survives in places that could boil most animals alive, yet the snail not only survives but thrives with its shell made of pure iron sulfide. The extreme thermal conditions of volcanic vents do not bother this animal. Scientists couldn't even imagine finding creatures living inside hydrothermal vents in the Indian Ocean until they discovered Chrysomalin squamiferum in 2001. It was first found in the hydrothermal vent named Kyre. At the time, scientists considered it a strange but insignificant discovery, but finding the snail in multiple locations confirmed its existence as a species. We now know that Chrysomalin squamiferum lives at a depth of 1.6 miles below the water's surface in areas where temperatures reach 400 degrees Celsius. But one of the most fascinating facts about Chrysomalin squamiferum is how it grows its shell. The snail takes iron sulfide from its surroundings and converts it into natural armor, which provides excellent protection for its soft internals, allowing the snail to move safely while absorbing bacteria through a large iron processing gland. Quite an advanced feat for a snail. Flamingos on the Altiplano. High in the Bolivian Andes, flocks of flamingos inhabit the extremely salty waters of volcanic basins. Hidden between a pair of volcanic peaks, located at an altitude of 3 miles, there is a mountain pass with a lake of bright red water. It looks almost like a lake of blood. It is here that the volcanic flamingos have made their home. The red water camouflages them from potential predators, as they blend in seamlessly with the surroundings. In any case, there aren't many predators to contend with in the Altiplano. Flamingo colonies were discovered here in the late 1950s when researchers stumbled upon Laguna Colorada, a volcanic lake encircled by mountains. They were astonished to find 3 different species of volcanic flamingos living in the Red Lake: the Chilean flamingo, Andean flamingo, and James's flamingo. Later, in the 1960s, researchers discovered that the Red Lake is dotted with seemingly bottomless pits that spew out hot geysers from deep within. The lake stretches across 6,000 hectares, with a depth of just 3.3 feet. Ancient people who lived in this area believed that the lake was red because it was the blood of gods. In reality, the saturated color is created by algae and minerals in the water, which attracts the flamingos. The lake is fed by an endless flow of bubbling water from a volcanic source located deep beneath the plateau. Volcanic hamsters. Recently, scientists confirmed that a species of hamsters inhabiting volcanoes holds the title of the highest-dwelling mammal in the world. These tiny creatures were found at the summit of Lulelaco, at an altitude of just over 3.7 miles above sea level. Lulelaco is a massive volcano situated on the border between Argentina and Chile. It is such an inhospitable place that one wouldn't expect to find anything inside it. The summit is too high, resulting in dry and cold air. There is also a lack of oxygen at the volcano's peak, which is essential for most animals. However, in 2020, scientists discovered hamsters living inside the volcano. Never before had mammals been found in such an unusual location. Jay Storrs from the University of Nebraska says it's difficult to overstate how hostile the environment is: very little vegetation, no rainfall, and temperatures that can reach -20 degrees Celsius. Despite the harsh conditions, the long-tailed hamster thrives here. It lives on the summit of the highest and historically active volcano in the world. The hamsters find enough food and do not suffer from altitude sickness. I really hope you enjoyed this video. That's all for today. Subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up. See you tomorrow.